So, as you all know, I have been studying Eastern thought, specifically about the self. Is there a self? Do we actually have a self? What is the self? How do we know? Because we can't get outside ourselves to see what the self is. So sometimes I ask myself deep existential questions like, self, don't you already have enough Elker caddisflies? And then I answer, self, I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Smoking at Three Oaks Syrian and drinking some afternoon coffee. It is one of those days. I have fallen victim to big corporate fly fishing. The way they get you, right? The way they get you is that it's like hot dogs and buns. They sell materials in increments that don't match up. So now, you've got like some hooks left over, and you don't want to have to like organize those in your tobacco tin full of hooks, right? So you're like, well, what else can I pull out to like finish these hooks off? And right now I've got some extra hackle left over. So I actually went out and bought some hooks so I could finish up this hackle and not have it like laying around making a mess. They got me. I have been asked repeatedly by a subscriber to justify my rather casual assertion that Minecraft, the video game, has existential implications for humanity. And I wish I could remember who exactly it was that asked me to talk more about this. But that would require going back up to my office, and I am not going to do that right now because this is the only time off I have had in several days, and I'm a little bit stir crazy. And so I really just need to stare at hooks and tie animal parts to them. So let's get down to answering this question, shall we? Minecraft, for those of you who have been living under a rock, like let's say you were in a terrible accident in like 2009 or something, and you wake up, and there's this game called Minecraft, and Donald Trump is president. Minecraft began life as an independent, meaning not made by a big gaming conglomerate, independent sandbox game. And for those of you who don't know what a sandbox game is, it's a game with very little or no story or linear component. It doesn't have fixed goals that you have to get through. An example, the classic example, if you're familiar with games at all, you know what Super Mario Brothers is. Super Mario Brothers is a very linear game. And if you're familiar with games at all, you know what The Legend of Zelda is. And that is a very non-linear game, meaning that the path to success is ill-defined. And in Minecraft, it's almost as if there is no path to success because you determine whether or not you're successful. You are the one that's setting your own goals. There is a boss that you can kill, and you do get an end screen sort of flavor text kind of thing. But I mean, no one cares about that. That's not how the game was designed to be played. And sandbox games have come and gone through the history of gaming. You could make the case that The Legend of Zelda was a sandbox game, and that's certainly how I played it when I was a kid. So that's nothing new, really. What creeps me out about Minecraft, and I first became aware of Minecraft, from seeing memes about it on the internet, and then my buddy Brad started playing it, and I was like, oh, how is that game? And he was like, it's amazing. So I started looking at it, and here's the thing that first got to me about it. A Minecraft world, for all practical purposes, as it is intended to be played, a Minecraft world is infinite. You cannot reach the end of the world. Now you can cheat and teleport yourself to the end of the world, but in normal gameplay, you do not reach the end of the world. You can reach limits in the vertical dimension, meaning you can go north, south, east, west as far as you want, but you can only go up and down, a certain distance. And for those of you who see where this is going, I will point out that for most of human history, for the vast majority of human history, we labored under the delusion of the same limits. And H.G. Wells made a really good point here in The Time Machine, We can go north, south, east, and west as much as we want, but we're pretty limited in how far up and down from the Earth's surface that we go. Now, of course, we have astronauts and deep sea divers and all those folks, but those are extremes, and they're recent phenomenon. So the point that I'm trying to make here is Minecraft is real life. Now, that's obviously not the point that I'm trying to make, but the whole reason, the crux of my theory here is that Minecraft is a big step on the way toward the realization of simulated realities. That we think about simulation theory and supercomputers and all that, and we've always thought that it would be some evil AI or some huge corporation putting together a simulated reality to test human consciousness, whatever. No, it's going to happen through video games. And it's been happening for a long time. I mean, when you play a video game, be it Super Mario Brothers or Tetris or whatever, or when you play any game, I mean, there's the whole realm of philosophy called game theory, right? When you play any game, you are establishing arbitrary rules that control the behavior of things within that environment, or within that experiment, or within that logical, thought, question, hypothesis, whatever. You're establishing these arbitrary rules, and you go forth and prosper or fail or game over, man, or whatever. So we've gotten to a point now where we have a game in which the average player is as unable to reach a limit to that game's infrastructure as the average human being is able to reach the end of the earth. And that's a big step from Super Mario Brothers, where, okay, you could break the bricks with your jump, but you couldn't break the pipes that the flowers grew out of. You couldn't break the flagpole. You couldn't manipulate that stuff. But in Minecraft, there's not a single thing that you can't manipulate except for the bedrock that forms the lower limit of the vertical dimension. Other than that, and even in creative mode, you can manipulate that. So there's nothing you can't do. Now, I remember a specific conversation that I had with Brad in which he said that exact thing that I just said. There's nothing you can't do. You can build anything in Minecraft. And I said, oh, yeah, really? We were in the gym. We were on the treadmills. And I said, yeah, really? Okay, so what if I got Minecraft and I wanted to build a working iPad? Could I do that? And he said, yeah, you could actually. With enough processing power, and if you wanted to spend enough time actually programming the thing, you could do it. Virtually impossible, but not technically impossible. And I was skeptical, and then I looked at Minecraft, and yeah, I think building an iPad is out of the realm of the casual gamer. However, you see people do these crazy projects in Minecraft in which they do make working video screens. And ladies and gentlemen, that's really weird. People really make video games in a video game. Doesn't that freak you out? And so what you literally have is an environment with arbitrary limits and no other limits. That sound familiar to anyone? So basically, in Minecraft, you can't dig below bedrock. Why? Well, because bedrock is the lower limit. And in the universe, you can't go faster than the speed of light. Why? Because the speed of light is the upper limit. Microsoft has improved this situation a little bit. I'm not saying the whole situation, but this situation. There are now crafting recipes within the game. There's a little bit of in-game help about how to actually play Minecraft. But when I started playing, and when most people started playing, back in the day, there was no way to know what the hell you were doing in Minecraft without looking on the internet at the Wikipedia, the open source, wiki. It's hard to think of a synonym that doesn't just go back to Wikipedia. Open sourced, crowdsourced depository of knowledge for which there is no qualification to contribute other than your claim to the knowledge, right? You would have to look at that, or you'd have to look at YouTube videos of gameplay, again, which anybody can contribute to. There's no qualification. You don't have to have a degree in Minecraftology to get on YouTube and say, here's how you play Minecraft. So you sort of enter this game with arbitrary limits and no other limits. No limits but arbitrary limits. And there are no instructions on how to play the game except for those outlined by people whose only qualification is the claim of knowledge and authority. Sound familiar? Anybody else? Does that ring any bells? It's just like real life in that you're born here, you got no freaking instructions. There's no rules about what you should or should not do. And the only people to tell you what to do are people whose claim or people whose authority is only based on the claim that they have authority, like your parents. Show me in nature the law that says your parents are right. I'm a parent. I am not always right. I have more life experience than my 3-year-old. I'm probably better at not sticking my tongue in a light socket than my 3-year-old. That's true. But can I really tell my 3-year-old the answers to the big questions in life with any surety at all? No, because I still have the same questions. So, you can go to university and talk to a philosopher, but their only claim is that, well, they happen to participate in the system called the education system, and that gives them hierarchical degrees of authority, and that's their authority. So they have authority because they have authority. You can talk to a religious leader, and again, they have authority because there were some words on some paper that say they have authority. And why do those words have authority? Because the religious leaders say they have authority. I can't tell you how much I watch YouTube videos of people playing Minecraft, and I'm like, dude, you're doing it all wrong. You're doing it all wrong. But if it works for them, they're not doing it wrong. Unless we want to find some moral reason why they should build their skelly farm this way and not that way, or why they should plant their pumpkins over here and their melons over there. There's no standard of behavior here. There's no dress code. I pricked my finger. It really hurts. Furthermore, I would argue that the more you get into Minecraft, the more nebulous its source gets. It's easy to say, well, the creator was... Who was the guy that created it? Some dude. There was some guy with a J name, right? Was it Jeb? I don't know. Now there's Notch, except they sold the deal to Microsoft, and so technically Microsoft is the creator of Minecraft, so you're in this environment whose creator is like this big corporation, and you don't really know what its motives are, and why is this whole thing here to begin with? That is a big question. And even among Minecraft players, you will find these questions being asked, and you will find interesting legends are starting to appear, like the legend of Herobrine. For those of you who do not know who Herobrine is, Herobrine, Aerobrine, whatever you want to call him, he is, in theory, a ghost of one of the developer's brothers. The developer had a brother who died, and so the developer coded him into Minecraft, and he haunts Minecraft. And every now and then, even on a single-player world, you might see a figure off in the distance somewhere, and that is the ghost of Herobrine. I'm sure there are people that actually believe that Minecraft is haunted. I am not one of those people, but I did have an experience early on in Minecraft. I didn't have a Herobrine experience. I'm not that crazy. I hope you did. Okay. So I remember early on we were playing Minecraft, and we were like, setting up a base in a desert, and I went over a ridge and saw a spider jockey. Now, if you're not familiar with Minecraft, a spider jockey is when a spider spawns with a skeleton riding its back. And these things have like a 1 in 10,000 chance of I don't know what the chances are, but they have a very small chance of actually spawning. And at that time, we were all so new, and I was like, dude, there's a freaking skeleton riding a spider over here, and no one believed me until they came and saw it for themselves. So there, you sort of ask the question of like, well, is Minecraft haunted, or is there just something in it that, it's a closed source program that anything could be in there, and it's just got a very, very small chance of showing up? Well, that's a religious experience. And there you get into some really interesting stuff, like the definition of a miracle. How rare must a miracle be for it to be a miracle? Is a sunrise a miracle? We talk about the miracle of life all the time, but there's 7 billion people on the planet, so it's not exactly that rare. And Einstein made the case when Einstein had some interesting ideas. Did I just say that? I just said that out loud. Einstein had some interesting ideas. Okay, so Einstein was a Spinozist, which is a sort of a subset of philosophy that's basically pantheism, and he abandoned the Hebrew traditions of his upbringing and said about that, why believe in a creator who goes to all this trouble to create these strict rules for his universe, but then breaks them with miracles? What if a miracle is just something that isn't impossible but then happens, but it's something that has a very, very, very low probability of happening and then happens? And then, of course, when you get into quantum physics, you find I am not an expert. I am not anything at quantum physics. I used to think I knew stuff, and then I realized that I do not. But I am told that probability plays a big part in that sort of thing, and very little is actually impossible. It's just highly, highly unlikely. And so that's, I don't know. I don't have that answer. I don't have any answers, and neither does anyone else. And anyone that tells you that they have answers is intellectually dishonest. So, having said all that, having just offended pretty much everyone who watches my channel, I will say this. I enjoy playing Minecraft. I enjoy being alive. Maybe there's some similarities there too. And this kind of immersive artificial reality is not new. Look at the work of Tolkien. Look at Lord of the Rings. There's some serious depth there, and that I think has made anyone who's read all of Tolkien's work. Not that I have. Damn it! I keep pulling the freaking. Okay. Anyone who's read all of that has had to ask themselves in the deep heart of the night, man, there's a lot here for this all to be fiction, right? I mean, we're talking about wizards and orcs and stuff, but at the same time, it's pretty immersive. So, I think it's worth pointing out that the human capacity for artificial reality, for fiction, is now being caught up with by the human capacity for simulation. And it's really fun. It's done in the name of actually enjoying doing it, as opposed to Microsoft does it on Minecraft. The point being, J.R.R. Tolkien smoked a pipe, and so did Albert Einstein. And I don't know if the guy that created Minecraft smoked a pipe, but I smoke a pipe, and I'm going to do that right now. Thank you for watching. Keep the ends out for the times that bind.